Welcome back to Joseph K. Ford Stadium here at Lexington Catholic High School, where the score at halftime is a big time 13-0 in favor of Madison Central over the Knights. This is Night Vision, by the way, broadcast and produced by PrepSpin.com. Gary Ball, me, Mike Meehan, here with the whole crew, and having a great time up here in the press box, Gary, and watching a good football game. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more offensive power out of Catholic.
William and I saw Madison Central early in the year, and they looked good that game, but I tell you what, they're looking really sharp offensively here tonight. They're moving the football very effectively, running and passing. Matter of fact, you've got the UFOs, the Unheralded Football Overachievers.
Right. We're gonna start this halftime off with one of our favorite things that we do, and that is what we call the UFO Tribute. UFO stands for Unheralded Football Overachiever. And Gary, a few years ago when we started doing this, probably 5 or 6 years ago when we started doing this, I've always felt that as a former coach, there's a whole lot of people involved in the program in the backgrounds that do an awful lot for the football teams, but they don't get much credit for what they do.
They get no credit.
Right. So what I do is I contact the coaches the week before, and I talk to the coaches about giving us the name and some information on someone in their program, man, woman, it doesn't matter what they do, but someone who does a lot, goes above and beyond, but gets a little credit for their efforts. So today we have two good ones. Let's start first with Madison Central. Madison Central, Coach Centers picked Kevin Vig. We call these guys managers in the old days, but Coach calls them coach's assistants. So coach's assistant, Kevin Vig. This is quotes from the whole coaching staff. Kevin is a young man who does many things for the football program. He does a lot to help run the daily schedule run smoothly. His duties include setting up the practice field, taking down the practice field, filming practice, and even running the clock for freshman and JV games. He also helps with the laundry in the equipment room. Coach Settles tells me that the job Kevin is asked to do, he does efficiently and he does without any complaint, and he goes above and beyond to do the best job he can for the Indians football team. The coaches and players really appreciate what Kevin Vig does for the program. They're very, very, very happy for what he does. Now let's take a look at the UFO award for Lexington Catholic, the Knights. Coach Perry jumped on it right away. Mike Smith, trainer. Now, let me tell you a little bit about athletic trainers do an unbelievable job in order to keep the team healthy during the year. But Mike Smith goes a little bit above and beyond. Listen to these qualifications. First of all, he's a very dependable person. He comes early, he stays late, and he works well with the players, not only treating injuries, but preventing injuries. Mike's from Columbus, Ohio, Gary.
Home of the Buckeyes.
He graduated from Mount Union College and earned a master's degree from Indiana State. By the way, Indiana State, my former trainer at Dunbar when we were at Bryan Station, Lori Vanza, is also was an athletic trainer and head of athletic trainers at Indiana State for a long time. They have a top-notch graduate program for athletic trainers in Indiana State. Mike Smith then joined the Houston Astros baseball organization. He worked his way up through their minor league system. Now, he traveled throughout the minor league system, but he also traveled overseas and the Dominican Republic, did some work down there, did some work with some of the other baseball areas in South America, Central America.
Learning his craft.
People love him. He rehabbed those players and did a lot to prevent injuries then, too. He became the Astros strength coach and strength and conditioning coordinator for a while. Guess what? Luckily, his wife, who's a chemist, got an outstanding job as a person who tests the blood and urine of horses.
Just want to tell you real quickly, Coach, some rain and some lightning coming in, and they're actually clearing the stands here at Lexington Catholic, so we may have a little bit of a delay.
Well, we'll just work our way through halftime, and we'll see what happens. But he became his wife, Mike Smith's wife, is a chemist, and she was hired with a nationally known firm that tests the blood and urine of horses, race horses. Where better to be than Lexington, Kentucky?
Oh, yeah.
Mike also
racehorse
joined
capital of the world.
Right. Mike also joined the Lexington Legends and worked with the doctors at the Lexington Clinic, who we really, really like. He joined the staff at Lexington Catholic this year. He says loves working with the coaches and players with the Knights. He also told me that the one thing he's so impressed with is he doesn't have to be the first one to come up with some things, because these coaches pay so close attention to what's going on out there in the field that they're on it right away even before he gets on it. So congratulations to our two top UFOs this week, Kevin Vig from Madison Central and Mike Smith from the Lexington Catholic Knights.
Great job, Coach, as always, with those UFOs. And as I said, some of the fans, the umbrellas are up. Some of the fans have exited the Joseph K. Ford Stadium in front of us here, but there are umbrellas open now, Coach, and there are some players out on the field, so we're not sure if we're going to start on time here in the second half. But before we do that, of course, you have the first half stats here. The big number, of course, Madison Central leads 13-0.
Right. If you look at the 13-0 score, I think Lexington Catholic got away with a little bit there because the Indians were down there close a couple times and had to kick field goals. So that's to the advantage of Lexington.
You want to update on Lafayette, Scott County?
Please.
Scott County just scored to go take the lead back after Lafayette led 13-12. Now Scott County leads 18-13.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna I'll start going over these stats. If you can find some other Lexington scores, that'd be great. Especially my Dunbar Bulldogs, if you can. All right, first downs. Madison Central at 8 first downs. The Lexington Catholics 4 first downs. Let's look at the rushing yardage as you look at the screen here at home. It is raining here.
Yeah.
Rain's coming straight down, so it's going to wet this field pretty good. They are clearing the field. We had a couple of Lexington Catholic kickers that thought they could stay out there and kick, and they've been told quite loudly to get off the field and get in the locker room.
Yeah. Well, this is our first incident of this year. We're going to have possibly a weather delay. You see the rain really coming down here at Lexington Catholic at halftime with Madison Central up. But Coach has got all the first half numbers from you provided by Kenny Bourne and WL Stats.
Rushing yardage, Madison Central, 22 rushes for 136 yards. You know, Jabari Ugly has most of those yards. He has 6 carries for 71 yards. He had one loss of 7 yards, so basically a net of 64 yards and 1 touchdown. Rushing yardage for Lexington Catholic, oh my gosh, 11 rushes for 31 yards. So there's really not much going on for them. Their leading rusher was Nuar with 4 carries for 13 yards. Crook Fago, had 5 rushes for 23 yards. Jack Fago had 2 for 8 yards. Not much going on there. Passing yardage, let's take a look at the net yardage first. Passing yards, 74 yards for Madison Central and 49 for Lexington Catholic. Passing attempts, 5 for 5 and 8.
Bryan Station, you said give you some more scores,
please,
so I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Please.
Bryan Station leads Meade County 7-0, that in the first half. LCA, they are up. They lead 34-7 in the second quarter. LCA.
Now that Meade County team, we followed those a couple of years ago,
yep.
Gary. They're a really good program.
Yes, sir.
Down there. Total offensive plays and yardage, 27 plays for 210 yards for Madison Central, 19 plays, 80 yards for Lexington Catholic. Neither team lost a fumble. We had 2, Madison Central 2 for 10 punt returns, and all the kickoffs went in the end zone, way out of the end zone. Madison Central's kicker, super job of kicking. Penalties. Madison Central has 3 penalties for 20 yards. Lexington Catholic's been clean. They don't not had any penalties in the first half. Third down conversions. This is where Madison Central suffered and Lexington Catholic both suffered. Madison Central was only 1 for 5 with first downs, Gary. Lexington Catholic 0 for 4. Big thing. You got to get off the field on 4th down and 3rd down, and so far both teams have been doing that, thank goodness. So let's look at some individual statistics while we have the opportunity. Ugly, 6 carries, 71 yards, as we said. Zach Harden, 4 carries, 38 yards. Ethan Hahn, who I'm really impressed with his running skills. Very quick, very fast once he breaks the line of scrimmage. 5 carries for 29 yards. And Warford has 2 carries for 12 yards. For Lexington Catholic, again, they're without Damian Jones, their best runner this year. Don't know where he is. Haven't heard a thing. Have you? About any information about it?
No, just he's not in the lineup. Their star running back, 6 touchdowns, and nearly 500 yards coming into this game, not playing tonight.
And they miss him awful. Trenton Newar has 4 carries for 13 yards, and Nate Kirkfago has 5 carries for 23 yards. Jack, his brother, 2 carries for 8 yards. Passing, well, Zach Harden, very impressive young quarterback. Nice, tall, thin, has a nice arm, looks like he reads the plays well. He's been running the ball also pretty well. 5 for 5 for 74 yards and no touchdowns, but he was sacked 1 time. He had that 151-yard touchdown pass that really started the game going. Kirk Fago, 6 for 8, 49 yards. His longest was 29 yards. He was sacked twice and sacked hard a couple times. The receivers, you talked before the game about Hahn and Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Keenan Miller is 2 catches for 15 yards, but Ethan Hahn, Gary, 1 catch, but he had 51 yards on that catch.
Mm-hmm.
Evan Harris, 1 catch for 9 yards, and Jeremy Cox hasn't caught anything. If you look at Lexington Catholic, not bad for Cameron. Gavin Cameron, 2 catches for 34 yards. Eric Soto, 1 for 9. Schnurr, 1 for 5. And Bucket
yeah, they've
Anning,
got to
1
get
for 4.
Schnurr some more touches in the second half. We saw in that game against St. X what he's capable of doing, Coach.
Well, and Bucket Annie, too. They've got to get him going.
Exactly.
We've seen him make some tremendous plays.
And I
after
see
the catch.
Madison Central's out on the field stretching, warming up, so obviously there probably isn't going to be a delay in the start of the second half, weather-wise.
I hope not. It looks like the rain really slowed down, too. So, again, punts. Madison Central punted the ball twice. Lexington Catholic didn't punt. Actually, they went for it one time on 4th down where they might have punted the ball and got the back Madison Central up. They did score a field goal on that play, on that punt. All right, tackles real quickly, Gary. Let's look at tackles for Lexington Catholic first. Jack Fago, 5 tackles, 3 assists. He is active as usual.
Yep.
Will Roden, 3 tackles, 2 assists. Kevin Brown, 3 and 1, and Dylan Coulter, 3 and 0. All the players that we talked about beforehand for Madison Central, even with 2 tackles each. Humford, Long, Moorhead, and Baker. Pretty good job. Time of possession, that doesn't mean anything. We've said that before.
Coach, now they're sending Madison Central back over to their area where they were dressing and so forth. They're sending them off the field, so there might be a bit of a delay.
Well, let's take a break right now, and we'll be back shortly. We're going to take a look at this delay, this little rain. We're at halftime again with a slight delay. This is the Night Vision Network, produced by PrepsBin.com.